Hey guys, what's going on? It's Adam Snyder here with the Homemade Entrepreneur. So I want to show you how to properly tape a box to send into Amazon FBA. Now, obviously, this box is very small. There's a little ball of tape. You can see how small it is. Yeah, there you go. So, this box is fairly small. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you on a small box. Only because it'll be easier for me to show you. First thing I do, got your tape. I have a 3-inch tape gun, but don't have tape, so I'm not going to use that. Most people have, this is just the Duck brand tape from Walmart. Okay? And it's a little Scotch, whatever. I like these smaller ones compared to the bigger, actual, I don't know, guns, I guess is what you call them. So the first thing I do is I tape one strip across. Okay, one strip across. That just holds the whole box together. So let's pretend this is the bottom of the box. First thing I would do, tape one across the bottom. Second thing I would do, tape one right along the seam. Okay, right there. So that's actually going to hold this box closed. Those two pieces would actually hold it. But for the sake of, let's say it's a 50-pound box, I would actually do, and so this is the bottom of the box, I would actually run a piece along here. So you can see it's actually hanging over. So you see where it's hanging over right there? So what I'm going to do there is I will fold the two ends in, fold this down, and go right along there. Okay, that's going to seal it up. So that's going to seal that bottom. I will do the same thing over on the opposite side. Okay, fold the sides in, fold this down. Okay, so now those are in. So if this was a 50-pound box, what I would do next, because all I have is a thin piece of tape running right along here, I would take one more piece, I would overlap it. So my other piece is right here, this piece is coming right there. So I'd overlap the whole thing on both sides. Okay, and that is done. That would be a 50-pound box. Okay, so let's kind of recap what I did. First thing I did, the seam is right here. Okay, so the box actually opens up this way. I ran my first piece of tape along this way, and it closed up the box. It closed the lids. Second thing I did, ran a piece along the seam. One piece along that seam. Third thing I did, taped the edge of the box so it overlaps right here. Fourth thing I did it right here as well. Fifth thing I did, I ran the two pieces along the seam, so they're actually overlapping the initial piece that is running along that seam to close up the box. So that's the first thing I did. Last thing, I ran the two pieces along that. This is how I would do the bottom of a box. If you don't have the 3-inch tape or the wet gum tape or craft tape like you see on the box, which is a little bit nicer, makes it so you don't have to use much tape. Another way I would do a box, or how I do the top of the box, so I start it the same way. And the only reason I do it like this, pretty much close up the box. I only have two hands, so I can't keep the box nice and tight and run a thing across. It's just too hard, especially if you're dealing with a bigger box. First thing I do, run it along that way. Next thing I would do, right there. Third and fourth thing I would do is run it through the two extra pieces up top, like that, and that is it. So the top of the box, I don't always do the sides over here, and the reason I don't do that, especially in the spring, summertime, and even the fall, is because you get less rain. If you've ever seen a UPS facility, they get a lot of rain inside, just because sometimes the roof is not in the best quality or best condition. So some of the boxes might get a little bit wet, so I would tape the seams. I always tape the edges on the bottom of the box because I sell a lot of clothing, a lot of smaller items, and once I lifted up the box, so I was going to move it out of the way, I lifted up the 50-pound box. It opened up probably ever so slightly, and a little thing of I think it was women's underwear or something fell out. It was in a poly bag, but it opened up just enough that it actually slid out. So that is why I like to tape the seams. It just gives a little bit added protection. It's very easy. You don't need, let's say this was a big 50-pound box. Let's say it was 22 by 22 by 21, which is the extra large size from Home Depot. I would not run a piece along here and do another one here, and you got another one here, and then you're running them. You have 10, 15 pieces of tape along the bottom of the box. That is just too much. Okay, so this is even quite a bit. You don't even need this much, but I like to be safe. Tape is very inexpensive. If it means that you're saving your inventory, and when somebody lifts up your 50-pound box, everything just doesn't come falling out the bottom. If you have to run an extra thing of tape or 2 pieces of tape, it's well worth it. So that's something I recommend. And then for the top of the box, again, 1 across the top, 1 across the seam, and then you do 2 more overlapping that center one that is keeping your seam tight. So if you have any questions on how I tape up the boxes, or how I ship books, anything like that, I'm going to be doing more videos on shipping. I see a lot of people, that is the question they have, is how do you ship items? What's the best way to do it? So I'm going to be doing more videos on that, on how to do it properly, what I like to do, some of the items I use. So I'll have a few links in the description below as to some of the products I use, as far as the 3-inch tape. I even have some brown craft tape. This stuff is not the wet tape. That dispenser is a little big. I don't want to haul that around. So let's say this right here was a barcode. You want to cover that up. So I just take some of this tape, put it right over the top, and that's good to go. Okay, it's that simple. So I'll even put up a link for the tape that I use. This brand is actually Tessa. I actually bought a case of that. I think I got that for like 30 cents a roll, which is very good. So this one's kind of smashed, but I got it for like 30 cents a roll. So this doesn't really fit in a dispenser. So I don't use it that often anyway. So it's just something I keep around just in case. But if you have any questions, please comment below. Be more than happy to answer your questions. If you're not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, click that button right there in the middle of your screen. Become one today, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Alright, you guys take care.